Yeah, and I think that's where, we were talking about, why and what we thought we'd bring to support, and it really was around this deep knowledge that we have of working with leadership teams all over the world. My team predominantly in Europe, but leadership teams all over the world, and helping grow leaders from managers to executives to board members, and actually being able to impart as much of that knowledge as we possibly can at a very early stage in somebody's career, I think is going to be particularly helpful. I'm not sure we're going to know all the answers, but we've just been exposed to so many scenarios that we should hopefully be able to help build the confidence. And I think so much of this is just about building an individual's confidence to have the conversation, confidence to walk into a room with 20 people and feel that they can own their space in that environment. And so that's a lot of, I think, what we'll bring to the table. And then the next, I think, key point is around the bridging element, who we can bridge the people that we work with to contacts, whether that's for jobs or just for further experience. It's a mixture of those two things.
No, that's great. And I suppose, Nick, if I may ask you a question before we kind of come on to that.
Yeah, of course.
I was introduced to you via Daniel Taylor, one of our trustees. And I suppose I always am suspicious of new organisations coming to Aleto, but we hit it off straight away. And I want to know, what was it for you in your position at Boyden that thought that actually I'd want to work with an organisation like Aleto? I mean, I've seen all your posts, but I wanted to ask you directly, and I wasn't going to set you up with a question.
No,
so here it is.
It's it's a number of things. It's a complete recognition, and so I'll answer that just slightly differently. It's a number of things. It's a complete recognition that our industry controls the supply chain a lot in this space, and I'm not necessarily talking about at a junior level, but recruitment businesses that organizations work for control the supply chain of talent into those businesses. And so that was where I started from. It was a belief that the supply chain needed to have a conversation, and I think Boyden's a key part of that I wanted to make sure that I had that conversation first, and then I extended that conversation across my team. And so Daniel was one of the people that I was talking to in the early part of the summer, amongst, I think at this stage, probably 80 people that I spent time very deliberately speaking to kind of understand every aspect of what exclusion feels like, what social disadvantage looks like, because it's very easy to sit there and think you know about it, but I didn't, and nor did an awful lot of people around our organization. So I don't think we were necessarily direct parts of the problem, but I don't think we'd learned or had the conversation to make sure that we were a deliberate part of the solution, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's, for me, the main driver here. I think we as a business have done a huge amount on the diversity needle around women at work. And that was something that Boyden can hold itself very proud of globally. We've been involved in that. But I don't think we'd ever looked at what we were doing in the space of inequality and inclusion around race. And so that's something that, my team is very conscious of, and we've spent a lot of time over the last 6 months, doing our own learning collectively, but also individually.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for that. And I suppose with what you said, and going back to your question in terms of bridging, when our delegates have finished their university and they're out there looking for jobs, or they are already in jobs and looking for their second move or their third move, I think some form of support around how to navigate that, how to have those conversations in networks that allow you to move. Because you know that a lot of the jobs that are posted on LinkedIn already have gone. So people have already got someone earmarked for a position. And it's really getting our alumni group into that mindset as to how do I actually start to think about navigating the jump from where I am today to where I'd like to be in 3, 4, 5 years' time, and what are the things I need to do to help me accelerate that. So you will come into contact with a number of different suppliers. And I think if they think the same way as you, that would be great to bring them to the party, maybe do some webinars and talk about what it is they look for and how people can navigate their career.
I think it's so much about helping people, create their own narrative and build their story, and so that when they step in front of someone, whether it's for an interview or just a social interaction that may well lead to that opportunity, that they get the very best part of them across in what can be, decisions can be made so quickly these days, probably too quickly. So everything that we can do to concertina that experience down so that it's a positive one and helps advance that individual's career, it's fantastic. So that's really what we're going to be focusing on with all of the mentees. And I think we're starting with 5 this side of Christmas and another 5 in the new year. And I've already got, there's 21 of us in the team now in London. We seem to keep on growing, which is good. We've just got 2 that have come on in Ireland. But there's only 2 people who said that they're not interested in getting involved, and the only reason they said they're not interested in getting involved is because they're already mentoring through other programs, and so it's a time space. So for me, I genuinely hope this is, and this is kind of off air, this bit, I hope, as in, I don't think we don't be recorded in the sense of, I think this is something that we build on from this year with you. We take into next year all the people that have done the first cohort this time round, start doing the second cohort into the second part of next year. And then, assuming that goes the way that you and I want it to go, I think then we're talking about actually, well, how do we extend the relationship even more beyond that? And I know it's interesting, the couple of bits of feedback around the website recently, which is somebody said, I can't see what they do. So I was interested, I was going to chat to you or to your guys just to whether your message on the website is clear enough around what you do, because I was quite surprised, and I went in and looked at it and I went, no, it's good, but actually, is it, could we get an impactful statement around what it is you're doing? And if we can help with that, great. You've spoken to Andy now, I think, haven't you? So
what a guy.
Andy, he is, and he's 4 doors down from me here, so we get to see each other quite a bit, but he's brilliant. He's absolutely phenomenal at what he does, and our only concern, and I'm slightly joking, is that we're all a bit white. That's
a good thing, because we're majority black, right? And if the whites and blacks can sit down and talk together, hey, we'll understand what we're more alike than unalike, and the only thing that separates is the colour of our skin. So.
And completely, and indirectly, for the back of your mind for the future, there is a bit of me that in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, I want you to ask me to join your board, right? I want you to say, Nick, we've got to become a trustee, or whatever it is that trustee is probably too expensive at this stage of my life. but I hope as a business, genuinely, we get that engaged where. Brilliant. There's some kind of, you see the value, we see the value, and we continue to develop it. That was very useful. You happy that you got your points across in that, in terms of?
I do. I think so, and it's all moving in the right direction. And I suppose the more I think about where we are as a business, we're becoming more and more professional every single day. And the website piece that you said was like, I kind of noticed that. And the reason why we're going to do that global piece is because we're not creating leaders for tomorrow, we're giving them some leadership training. And to make them leaders tomorrow, we have to go that one step further and do the global piece.
Yeah.
So there's an organisation in South Africa and called the African Alliance. And we're headed up by a chap called Frank Aswani I met a few years ago when I was down there. And they take 2 children from each African country and keep them at university for 4 years, so I think from age 14, 15. Yeah. And then take them all around the world, all around Africa, teach them different languages, teach them how to be business people, so that their view is in 20 years' time that the African leadership will look slightly different.
Yeah. Good to talk to you.
Nice to see you, sir.
Great to see you. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.